everybody. It's your girl Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, juice. It is April the 22nd, 2021, and today the topic is Own Mind. This morning I want to give a special shout out to Ewan. Yes, to Ewan. I usually give you a shout out at the end, but I'm going to go ahead and give you a shout out right here at the beginning because, to be completely honest, you were one of the reasons I went ahead and got up this morning. God used you to convict my heart and mind this morning because honestly, when I woke up, I was not feeling it at all. I didn't want to do either one, though I didn't want to do my routine nor get up, none of that, right? But I happened to look at my phone and I didn't necessarily pay attention to what time it was today, but I saw that you commented. I saw that you left the comment for, I think, yesterday's episode, and I want to say probably like 40 minutes prior to me waking up. So thank you for what you do. You may not think it means much for you to leave these comments every day, but it does. It means something to me. So thank you. And again, I probably, not to say I wouldn't have gotten up, but I wasn't in the mood. I didn't feel like it. You know what I'm saying? And but reading your comment and knowing that at the end of the day someone is listening was part of the reason I went ahead and got up. So thank you. Speaking of that as well, like I got a few confirmations yesterday. I guess I'll tell you guys real quick what happened yesterday. So long story short, those of you that follow me on Instagram, you already know, but I ended up doing the virtual acting class again with the two young students. And, it was nice overall. I mean, part of me wants to be completely honest. Are you guys my diary now? Like, what is it? I'm telling you guys all the details and stuff. Okay, maybe I shouldn't get into, details or whatever. But I would just say I enjoyed, the lesson. They tend to, I guess, enjoy me and, my feedback and my, experience. I've been sharing a little bit of my acting experience. And it was very crazy how at the end of the lesson, one of the students was like, Miss Miracle, do you love to teach X, Y, and Z? Or why do you teach X, Y, and Z? And I just was like, wow, it's crazy you asked that question because at the end of the day, I questioned, should I teach? And I didn't know I was going to share this with them, and I didn't know I was going to share this with y'all. But anyway, I questioned teaching because, I told you guys, my mindset has shifted in regards to acting and mainstream art, if you want, or the film industry, Hollywood, all that. My mind has shifted. Like, my mind was never fully on it anyway. I perform because I love performing. I'm an actor. So of course, I had dreams of Hollywood and big movies and all these things too. Of course, I watch TV shows and see myself in them. Now I just, my mind is just on this. It's on GSL. My mind is on, creating my own movies. That's what my mind is on. So because of that, I questioned, should I teach? Because I don't want to discourage the young ones. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, their journey could be completely different from my journey, So yeah, that is part of the reason I questioned, should I do it? But if I'm able to, give them some type of wisdom and knowledge, some things, or share with them some things that I didn't know when I got started, that will hopefully help them get a better perspective of everything as they get started, then I think that's what that's about, as well as just my love to perform. So that happened yesterday, and as I said on Instagram, they almost made me cry because they was just telling basically they just kind of was sharing how much, that it meant to them that I was teaching them and whatnot. And I just was like, man, you can tell that they have great parents. I don't know if they're just buttering me up or whatever, because I'm like the new sub or whatever the case is. But I'm like, you have no reason to butter me up. Like, I'm not giving you a grade after this. Like, you know what I mean? But I don't know. It meant a lot, the things that they were saying. And so, yeah. So, again, I hope that I helped overall, by sharing my experience, as well as, giving my feedback on their performances and stuff like that. And, yeah, that was that. So that was yesterday. I want to say I went to bed at a decent hour. I can't even remember what time it was, though. But for whatever reason, I woke up and I was not in the mood. But I'm here, y'all. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, here to give you guys juice, you know what I'm saying? And so thank and praise God for that. I was going to tell you guys, I got another confirmation as well in regards to, so I got some more, wise counsel. You guys probably saw some wise counsel yesterday. My mom was commenting on the, on the episode of The Juice yesterday. And so she, shared her words of wisdom and everything like that. So I pretty much, at some point yesterday, as I was posting on Instagram and, kind of just sharing some of my thoughts, eventually someone let me know that my thoughts, was a good reminder for them. And for me, that was confirmation that, at the end of the day, it's like you don't understand why you go through certain stuff, and you don't understand, like, for what purpose am I, for me, like I shared with you guys yesterday, I was like, man, why am I keep thinking about this? Like, why are they on my mind? Like, is it for them or is it for me? Like, well, who is it for? Like, why am I sitting here thinking about this stuff, X, Y, and Z? And then I guess coming to the conclusion that I came to, I just happened to share it again. Like, a lot of times when I share stuff, it's for me. It's not. But apparently it blessed somebody else. And so for me, that was confirmation, because I was like, well, at the end of the day, again, you don't know who you're blessing just by being obedient and just sharing, being a witness, sharing your testimony. So yeah. So perhaps, that's what I was lamenting the past couple of days for. So then that person who saw on Instagram could get that reminder that they received yesterday. So you never know. Like, it could just be that simple, So, hey, I'm glad that you got, you got some type of revelation as well as I did. And we all got some type of confirmation by me sharing my testimony of being confused about friendships and all that stuff. But let's get into this topic of own mind. So it's interesting because I kind of talked a little bit about this yesterday, which I didn't know I was going to talk about this today. But anyway, I talked about it a little bit yesterday, and my mom kind of said in her comment as well, something along these lines about me having my own mind and everything like that. Now, okay, I thought I was going to say this in the after show, but I guess I'm going to go ahead and say it now. Of course, I know that there's a lot of things going on in the world, right? And I know, especially here in the United States, and I know about the current event and everything like that. However, I don't feel led to speak on that. You know what I mean? Like, my mind, not saying it's not on that, but that's the only way I can explain it right now. Like, I haven't felt led to talk about that. So I'm just not going to talk. I mean, I know that sounds crazy. And I prayed about that as well this morning. But I want to say, when was it? At some point, the phrase "own mind" came into my mind as I was either doing my routine or praying. And then as I was praying, the phrase "out of this world" came into my mind. And, I guess it kind of led me to be like, well, or just to pray specifically for that. Because I just was like, well, Lord, at the end of the day, I know what your word says about, not being led by our own thoughts and, all these different things. And But I did say that, hey, I feel a little bit strange for my mind to not be on the things that the world's mind is on the current events. I'll put it like that. So it does feel a little bit strange, but at the same time, I'm just like, I don't know what else to say about that. Very interesting thing. So my live just went out. Oh, I'm telling you guys, I can't make this stuff up. It's crazy. But anywho, thank and praise God that this second device is still on and that you guys are getting the juice on the podcast, even though the live version isn't out. But who knows? Maybe I'll be able to turn it back on in a minute. But anyway, so with that being said, let's get into the juice. That kind of is what led me to looking up verses centered around own mind. Like I tried to look up like out of this world, but it didn't resonate. So I looked up own mind, and then I came across, there was like one verse that stood out because it kind of led me to some of the same stuff, some of the same like verses. So the one that stood out to me this morning was Titus 1:15. It says, "Unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure. But even their mind and conscience is defiled." So, yeah, that is the verse that stood out to me this morning that made me want to go deeper. I apologize for my pause in delivery. I'm just trying to see if I can log back into my live stream, but we'll see. Anyway, so yeah, that was the verse that led me to go deeper. And let's see, I'm trying to get back into the live, y'all. Okay, so for those of you that are live, my apologies. My device just went out of nowhere. But such is life, right? But I just shared with the podcast people the verse that led me to go deeper today, and that is Titus 1:15. I won't reread it at this point. I'm just going to keep going, but you guys can, read that on your own. But anywho, so yeah, that is the verse that let me go to deeper. So I went to Titus 1 and I read the entire thing. So that is the go deeper for today, Titus 1. And I'm just going to share with you guys the verses that stood out to me. So the verses that stood out to me were 6 and 7, which says, "If any be blameless, the husband of one wife, having faithful children, not accused of riot or unruly. For a bishop must be blameless as the steward of God, not self-willed, not soon angry, and given to wine, no striker, not given to filthy lucre." So, for whatever reason, like, I won't say the pastors' names, but I want to say some pastors flashed through my mind as I read this verse this morning. And I guess it made me ask the question of like how, like when we look at these individuals, like who fits this mold? You know what I'm saying? Now it's a whole nother conversation, this whole, Lord help me, Jesus. Okay, fine. If you want me to say it, Lord. It's a whole different conversation, this whole, women pastor situation, or women bishop situation. I I guess that's why I'm being very clear that I'm not a pastor. Like, I'm not trying to preach. And I know somebody said to me, like, they enjoyed my I don't know if you guys consider this to be preaching. I don't consider this to be preaching, and I'm not trying to. So, but that's a whole nother conversation. We ain't got to get into it too deep this morning. But I mean, it does say husband of a wife, you know what I'm saying? And those are gender specific, usually. And so, but that, again, a whole nother conversation, X, Y, and Z. But yeah, when I just think about this phrase in particular, when it comes to bishops and people that are supposed to be stewards of God, not self-willed, not soon angry, not given to wine, strikers, not given to filthy lucre. I ended up having to, and hopefully I'm saying that correct, lucre or lucre. Interesting. But anyway, lucre. I'm just gonna say lucre. I did look up that word because that is not a word that I use frequently. And it says money. It says money, especially regarded as sordid or distasteful or gained in a dishonorable way. So for me, I just pretty much summed that up to be dirty money. So yeah, not given to dirty money. And it kind of made me reflect on like leadership in these people that are supposed to be these stewards and whatnot. And unfortunately, I think this is probably why a lot is being revealed for who's real versus who's not. You know what I mean? Who's like true stewards of God, versus who's not. Because there would be nothing to expose if you were on the up and up, for example. But hey, that's no judgment on nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying what it had me think about this morning when I read this verse. So then, the next verses that stood out to me was 10 and 11, and it says, "For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision, whose mouths should be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not, for filthy lucre's sake." There it is again, dirty money, y'all. Again, like, who is just doing it for dirty money's sake? Like, it said, reflecting on this whole thing or reading this entire Titus, obviously it's clear that, basically, Paul left Titus to find, leaders in different households or different, communities or whatever the case is. That's what they're talking about here. But, obviously this all could just still fit for, us in this time as well. Because I guess we can see who's there for the filthy lucre or the dirty money, and again, who's being true stewards of God and everything. So, I don't know, just something to think about. That's what I came across today. I'm just sharing it, y'all. Anyway, so, and then verse 16 stood out to me as well. It says, "They profess that they know God, but in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate." I looked up reprobate too, but unfortunately I forgot to write it down. So I guess you guys can do that as well if you want to, add that to your Go Deeper section today to look up that word or whatever. Because I believe here it's different from another definition of it. But yeah, you guys can check that out on your own. That's technically the juice. That's what I found this morning. That's what I received. And I'm just sharing it with you on this day. Now, the Bible verse of today is Phillippians 2 and 3. It says, "Let nothing be done through strife or vain glory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves." Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. If you like what you hear, then consider supporting our podcast. Every listener that supports us for $9.99 a month will be entered into our monthly raffle for a chance to win a free gift. So become a supporter today.